Hello, hello, hello. How we all doing today? How was everybody's weekend? How was everybody's Mother Day? Did everybody get to spend some time with their moms? That is Caitlin Doughty on this thumbnail. Today, we are going to be covering an interesting topic, I tell you what. Been a while since we did a reaction stream, so I'm excited. I need to tell you, before we start, I gotta tell you guys, something really stupid happened to me this week. So for those of you that don't know, sometimes I have muscle spasms. I think it's psychosomatic. I think it's just a stress thing. Anyway, so I was standing right outside my bathroom at the door, looking through my phone, and then I had a muscle spasm, and I threw my phone into the toilet. The toilet was flushed, luckily, so there was no icky stuff in there. However, while my phone is a modern phone that has like water-resistant technology, I have like a detergent treatment in my phone. So I believe that the detergent got into the phone along with the water. It's that stuff that turns like the toilet water blue, because it's hard water in this building. It's a really old building. So it's the blue forbidden Kool-Aid, you know? And I think what happened is that the water drained out like it's supposed to, but the detergent particles stayed behind as the water drained out and have just royally messed up the phone. It is on its last legs. I've got a replacement coming tomorrow. Had to pick up a emergency commission because I'm trying to save money for a trip that my friend is coming here from Kansas. You'll see that I have a little bar where we have been fundraising, I think, since November. Their ticket and everything is all paid for. We've got like sleeping arrangements all figured out. We just would like to do things when they get here and not just like sit at home doing nothing. So some money to go on some touristy things, and it's Pride, so, and that's not free. So if you would like to donate to that, please do so. Over on Ko-Fi, or super chats are also welcome, either or. But anyway, so I'm saving money for that, and I'm helping my sister get her cat fixed next month. So I was like, oh, this is really not a great this is not a great time for me to be fucking just losing my phone. But yeah, it's on its last legs right now, which really sucks because it coincides with my internet being really fucky this week and last week. So that's why the stream started late. My internet decided to be fucky today, and I'm streaming from my hotspot, which is always fun. I've got a pretty good data plan, but still, it's like, I don't love doing it. You saw The Wiz on Thursday. I've never seen The Wiz. I've been wanting to. I should see if it's gonna be in Halifax anytime soon. Anyway, so what are we talking about today? Let's turn down the Yoshi music. I don't think it's super suitable for what we're going to be covering. So we are talking about two very different types of people today. We are talking about, like, I'm going to make my biases very clear going into this. I love Caitlin. I love Caitlin so much. That's this lady right here with the straight bangs. What a look. If I ever did drag, I mean, I do drag, but like I say if I ever did drag, but it's like I do drag and I have a wig just like that because I love that haircut. And she's been rocking that haircut since like the 2010s, and I love that for her. It's part of her brand and it looks so good. I love a straight blunt bang. Anyway, but in all seriousness, she is a mortician and a death positivity activist, a green death activist. She really helped me consider the mortal coil and like think about ways to grieve in a more secular way that's not necessarily tied to any spirituality. But she's also very respectful of other cultures' death practices and death rites. She's shouted out creators that talk about death and funeral rites in other cultures. Like, she is wonderful. The other woman that we are looking at is Lauren the Mortician. Now, because there has been some instances in the past of there being some lawsuits involving Miss Lauren, I will say this is all opinion, you know. Don't take anything I say as fact. Like I'm just watching a video and reacting to it. We're going to touch a little bit on her infamy on the internet, but for the most part, we are going to stick to the content that these two ladies have produced and what makes them different. We're going to be covering two topics. We're going to be covering water cremation and God, I can't believe I'm going to try to say it. La Pasculita. Anyway, it's a mannequin that has been rumored to be a corpse. And right from the get-go, you can kind of see the different approaches in how they talk about this sort of thing. Now, Caitlin's video is 9 years old, and it's only 6 minutes long. And while she has lengthened her content in recent years, I thought this was a really good topic to touch on. This is almost half an hour long. We will be watching it at double speed, but you can kind of see how they're different. So Lauren, again, everything that I say is, not an allegation, not an accusation. It's just me commenting on things that I've read about and what I have observed. It's all opinion. Please do not sue me, Lauren. Let's not start an international fucking like libel thing, because that'll be a headache for everybody involved, and I have no money, so you will not like you wouldn't get anything out of it. But Lauren is of TikTok fame. So that's like a beige flag for me, like, because there's some great YouTubers that started out on TikTok, like Milo from Mini Minute Man. Excellent creator. He's great. I love his content. That is not who Lauren is. So I think it was a couple years ago now, she got involved in some drama about car seats. So there's this guy that reviews car seats. He's an expert on car seats. It's giving autism. We love that for him. He's like a gay. I don't know how old he is right now, but he's gay. He's gay, and he was like 2021 when he made a video talking about safe car seat practices. And Lauren jumped on and started saying all these. No, he reviewed one of her videos talking about safe car seats practices, and this young man responded to her saying like, hey, this isn't safe. As a car seat expert, this is what you have to do. This is the safest way to like put a baby in a car seat, and Lauren, like, it got intense. There was some homophobia, dare I say it, misandry put in there. I don't really like that word necessarily, but like she was being very like, but you're a man and you're gay and like not a parent. You're just like a 20-year-old with a bunch of car seats at home. And it's like, but he's an expert, honey. Like, come on now. Let's be so for real. Like, you stay in your lane. He could stay in his. From what I understand, despite calling herself Mortician, I don't know about right now, right this second, but at the time that this was all coming up, she had let her license lapse and was no longer a recognized mortician. I don't know if she got her license back, but again, like, I'm just kind of painting a picture of who this person is, the controversy surrounding her. We might watch some of her other videos because this lady is fucking crazy. She's cuckoo bananas. She is convinced that Jeffrey Epstein is not dead. I watched some of her videos on it, and like, I will admit, I didn't really remember who she was, and I kind of like drank the Kool-Aid a little bit, and I'm like, and then I watched like the third video she made on it, I think, and I was like, this is, nuh-uh, I don't like this. Something fucky is about this. But, well, you can see, you know, she's very sensationalized. But like, yeah, she's like, oh, this is why he's not actually dead. It's weird. Graves were never safe. Like, it's, yeah. But the specific videos we are talking about now, I wanted to make sure that I found videos that both her and Caitlyn covered the same topic. But yes, Lauren has some allegations of being a homophobe, a transphobe, racist, a Trump supporter, right wing. Allegedly, like, this is just what has been drifting along on the internet. I can't say for sure personally. I don't know Lauren. I've never interacted with her. I can only go off what the internet has reported to me after I researched into it a bit. But those are the allegations against her. She sucks doo-doo donkey dick. Yeah. And as I've spoken about on this channel before, I enjoy analyzing the content that somebody puts out. And we haven't done that in a very long time, I feel. Not really. Actually, I'm curious, when's the last time? Let me see. Be my channel. I usually do it. Okay, I guess that technically speaking, I talked, this was me reacting to somebody else's content. And then like, this is kind of me talking about the Five Nights at Freddy's content mill in general. But the last time we did like a stream like this, April doesn't count because that was like, oh, you can see all my stinky little playlists. Whoops. Anyway, don't look too hard at the one that was tagged with the ship name. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway, oh, I guess we literally did that like a month ago with Anthony on Second Story. So I lied. We've done it a little bit. This was an April Fool's joke if you didn't realize. A lot of people ate the onion a little bit and thought that I was being serious, but this was an April Fool's joke. But yeah, I think that the Lane video is the only one in quite some time. Yeah, and then there was the Answers in Genesis one 5 months ago. But yeah, it's not something that I've done, but it was originally why I made this channel, was to talk about how we critically analyze stuff. So let's get into it. I think we're going to start with Caitlyn, and she will be our control. And this video is short, so I'll just let it play. If I have any comments to make, I will pause it. But for the most part, this is our control. The video is not monetized, so I don't think I should get hit with anything. Let's go.
Today.
Girl, that camera, what the fuck? Also, why is her voice so high-pitched?
we will celebrate the culture of the Mexican people.
Okay, I think she's
I,
doing a
as a
voice.
white lady, will get drunk and eat tacos.
No.
Okay,
not
that
gonna
was a
do
bit.
that.
That was
But
a
what I
bit.
will
Thank
offer
God.
you is a primer on Mexico's most famous mannequin corpse bride, La Pascualita. It's not like you guys haven't been asking about her.
Pascualita. Thank you, Caitlin.
Seeing as I am a benevolent mortician, your wish is my command. But know this, deathlings, you don't own me.
Can you hear her all right? I think she's a little quiet. Hold on a second.
Oh. Yeah, I guess you kind of do. The story of La Pascualita begins in March of 1930 when a new mannequin appeared in the window of Pascuala Esparza's Chihuahua bridal shop. Chihuahua bridal shop? That's the Mexican state of Chihuahua, not a bridal shop for small dogs. Although that's my dream.
See, what I like about her is that she's educational, but she also knows how to be funny in a way that I don't think is offensive. So she doesn't like make fun of anybody in a way that I would think would be degrading, especially to people that have passed away or people that are in grief. But she's funny. She's a funny bitch, and I like that in a content creator.
People were immediately taken with how strikingly lifelike this mannequin looked. She had long, flowing hair, rosy cheeks, eyes that seemed to follow you as you walked by. Most of all, the locals noticed how much the mannequin resembled Pascuala's deceased daughter. You see, not long before this mannequin appeared in the window, Pascuala's daughter supposedly died on her wedding day from the bite of a black widow spider. Other versions of the story have her dying from the sting of a scorpion or hurling herself off a cliff when her mother didn't approve of her choice of betrothed. Point being, Pascuala Esparza's daughter was dead.
So, something that I want you to think about is that Caitlin is setting this up as, from the get-go, a conspiracy theory of a rumor, like a tall tale. She is kind of like, she's not saying outright just yet, but she's setting it up as like, these are different versions of the story. She's dropping hints that this might not be true. She did that in the title where she's like, is it a hoax? So she is already prompting you to ask questions. Like, why would there be, if this was a real true event, why are there different versions of the story? You know? So she's already asking critical questions about this urban legend, which I think is really good to do if you are talking as an expert in your field, and she's a mortician, she's an expert in her field. She's a very popular, like, activist in terms of, like, death positivity and, like, green death and, like, rights around funeral rights. That was a homonym there. I mean, like, RITES, funeral rights. And so she's approaching this as an expert, thinking critically, which I think is best practice when you're doing something like this. So let's continue watching.
However, just because Pascuala's daughter was dead didn't mean that she was buried, or so thought the Chihuahua locals. With the mannequin's resemblance to Pascuala's departed daughter, as well as the exceptional detail in its face and body, people are especially obsessed with the mannequin's realistic hands. Locals started whispering that the mannequin was, in fact, Pascuala's daughter's deceased corpse, and thus began the legend of La Pascualita, or Little Pascuala. As La Pascualita's fame grew, so too did the tales surrounding her.
Oh my God, can you hear me
she
chewing? I'm
changes
sorry.
Positions on her own at night. Some say she even had a hand in rigging the 2016 U.S. presidential election.
I'll stop.
Thanks, La Pascualita.
From accounts of La Pascualita actually possessing varicose veins, to her clandestine romance with a French magician who brings her to life at night to dance her around the shop, the legends of La Pascualita are grand and creepy and center on the belief that she is not a mannequin, but a corpse. And while La Pascualita has never been properly examined, science proving that she is or is not a corpse, it is nearly impossible that she is.
Actually, hold on. Hold on. Let me see a second. Because I'm, like, quite far away from the microphone. Hold on a second. Is my noise gate off? I wonder. Filters. My noise gate was not indeed. My limiter and my noise suppression was on, but my noise gate was not. So hopefully I can eat my pizza slice without it making noise. Hold on. Let me see if it ticks the microphone. Okay, we're good. I think. I don't think you could hear me chewing anymore. I'm so sorry. I'm so embarrassing when people hear me chewing. Okay, let's go.
Corpses inside the mannequin? No, I'm just gonna say it. La Pascualita is not a corpse. We've talked about this in previous videos, but preserving a human body in such pristine, non-horror show conditions is just not going to happen in a bridal shop window. First of all, La Pascualita was not taxidermied. You cannot taxidermy a human the same way you would taxidermy an animal, and even if you could, it would not look anything like La Pascualita. While an animal might have fur or feathers covering its body, humans generally do not. Therefore, you wouldn't be able to hide the seams and stitches on a taxidermied human. Do you see any seams or stitches on La Pascualita? Any taxidermist will tell you that even if somehow the seams and stitches were all hidden under her wedding dress, there is no way that her preserved and hairless body would look so pleasantly lifelike. What about embalming, then? Could La Pascualita be a perfectly embalmed and preserved corpse like, say, Vladimir Lenin? No. While it's possible for an embalmed corpse to stay relatively intact for a long period of time, a body like Lenin's requires a devoted team of professionals working and tending to it like it's their job. Because it is. Lenin's body is basically a science experiment at this point, getting regularly re-embalmed, kept in a special climate-controlled environment with secret government procedures to keep the corpse looking lifelike. Even with all of this, Lenin's body has suffered from mold and needed various body parts replaced over the years. It takes a whole team of biomedical engineers keeping Lenin's body looking up to snuff. Do you think La Pascualita has a squad like that? I don't think so.
Jesus.
Standing in that bridal shop window in Chihuahua, exposed to sunlight and moisture and bacteria and humidity, there's no way that a corpse like La Pascualita, without professional maintenance, could still look so flawless after almost 90 years. Even if someone did a perfect job of embalming her initially, such perfection would not last. Among other things, her skin would have molded, parts of her face and body would have shriveled, decayed, and discolored, and yes, there would be odors. Sorry, Deathlings, as eerie and intriguing as the legend of La Pascualita is, it is the opinion of this mortician that La Pascualita is not an 87-year-old corpse, but an 87-year-old mannequin with some killer PR.
This buzzkill has been brought to you by Caitlin Doughty in the Order of the Good Death.
Do you have a favorite death or corpse-related hoax? Or perhaps there's an iconic corpse you want us to talk about? Mention it in the comments like you did La Pascualita, and perhaps we'll talk about it in another video. Brought to you with support from People's Memorial Association and the Co-op Funeral Home, and donations from viewers like you. No, 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 no.
Okay, it's red.
All right. So that was very informative, I think. Let's go back a little bit.
Hi.
That was very informative. It was straight and to the point. She was very upfront that it was a hoax, basically from the get-go. But she did talk about the legend and why people believed it. But again, she left breadcrumbs that it was a hoax the entire video. She never made it seem like there was any doubt that it was a hoax. She brought up questions of like what on a second. She brought up questions about like what we should be thinking about when we hear about things like this. Um and I think generally those are really good things to do. And not only that, I think that you can learn things about critical thinking from Caitlin's videos when she covers things like this that you can then apply to other areas and other hoaxes and other things that it's like, okay, but wait a minute, is this true? And it gets you, and then it kind of teaches you how to ask those questions, right? That is not going to be the case, I believe, for our next video. And like, again, I don't think it's a big deal that Lauren's is longer than Caitlin's. It's just that Caitlin made hers 9 years ago, and shorter videos were the style back then, and now, because I believe Lauren's was made like very recently, like within the past few months. Longer videos are better. That's just the way YouTube works now. You'll also, like, another video that Caitlin did recently is 29 minutes, whereas Lauren's on the same topic is 21 minutes. So I don't think we should hold the length against Lauren. But from the get-go, I am a little sus because of the framing of the video. So already, this is clickbait. She is framing it as if in the thumbnail at least, that the rumors are in fact true and this is indeed a body. I believe those hands are not La Pascualita's hands. I think this is an entirely different bride. I don't even think this is a mannequin. I think this is just a person, or it's like photoshopped hands on. Like, those don't look like Pascualita's hands. So, like, I'm suspicious already. So let's press play.
Okay, it's red. That means it's recording. Imagine walking past a bridal shop. Just a normal day, minding your...
We are going to watch. I'm going to do voice boost as well, I think, because her audio mixing is a little wonk. And then we're going to go playback speed. Let's go 1.5.
your business, and then you glance up at the window, and the mannequin is staring at you. Not like mannequin staring, not like painted on eyes, lifeless plastic stare. No, like she's watching you. Her eyes look wet, her hands have veins, her skin looks soft, too soft, and suddenly your brain does that thing where it goes, wait, that's not a mannequin. Cue the brain spiral. Because what if I told you people have believed for nearly 100 years that this mannequin is actually a preserved human body? Yeah. Welcome to Morbid Monday, Coffin Crew. Do we sing here? We're singing here because it's just another more...
Hold on a second. Wait. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Morbid Monday. Wait a minute. I am certain that Caitlin had. Hold on a second. I'm sure that Caitlin did this
For the
bit.
past 3.5 ground, her seal.
I swear to God, didn't Caitlin have a section called Morbid Monday? I swear to God she did. Hold on a second. I swear to God, she had a Morbid Monday section on her YouTube channel. Am I crazy? I mean, like, I can't. I mean, it would take me a bit to like go through and find like a video that Caitlyn released on a Monday back when she was doing segments. Like, I'd have to find one. But I'm suspicious. I'd have to go back through Caitlyn's old content, but I swear to God, Caitlyn had a Morbid Monday section. And like, it's not that much of a reach. Like, it's a popular song, but like, I'm suspicious. Miss Lauren, you better don't be doing that. Come on now.
Morbid Monday, whoa, whoa. That was off key, oh, yo. Wish it was Friday, whoa, whoa. Death, dying, and decay, whoa, whoa. It's gonna be a great day, cha cha cha. Anyways, cue the intro. Thank you. Let me introduce you to La Pascualita. She's been standing in the window of a bridal shop in Chihuahua, Mexico since 1930, dressed as a bride, perfectly posed, perfectly still. And people cannot let it go because the second you see her up close, it's not giving Target mannequin. It's giving individual lashes, glassy, reflective eyes, hands with visible veins and knuckles, skin texture that looks alarmingly human. Like if she blinked, you wouldn't even question it. And
Okay, so she's using AI. Great. All right, so Morbid Monday podcast. Somebody said in the chat. Okay, this one started in 2025, and I think that does not. This one, I mean, again, it's not that much of a stretch. It's just, it's been very obvious to me that Lauren is trying intentionally to fill a similar niche to Caitlyn. She does the same kind of jokes. They're a little more tasteless and has like, I don't know. I'm suspicious.
that's exactly where the story begins.
That's just
The
my
rumors
opinion,
go
though.
like this. The shop owner, Pascuala, had a daughter, young, beautiful, early 20s, right on the edge of getting married, like literally in that phase of life where everything is about to begin. Wedding dress picked out, future planned, whole life ahead of her. And then suddenly, she died.
That's AI. Boo. That's AI, I swear to God.
Now, depending on who you ask, the story
I'm so
changes
upset.
a little. But the most popular version, a spider bite. I feel like we're playing Oregon Trail right now. But anyways, a spider bite. Because of course, folklore said, let's make this tragic and dramatic. Some versions say it happened on her wedding day. That sucks. And some say right before. But either way, she never makes it to the aisle. And her mother, devastated, absolutely devastated, understandably. Not just grieving, but the kind of grief that people whisper about. The kind where you don't know what someone's going to do next. And this is where the story takes a turn. Because
Hold on a second.
mother, devastated, absolutely devastated, understandably. Not just grieving, but the kind of grief
Are you fucking kidding me? I'm so mad right now. Did anybody else catch that? Specifically the way she's talking, the writing, the script of the video. Did anybody else fucking catch that? Hello, Fiona. I'm gonna play it again.
aisle. And her mother, devastated, absolutely devastated, understandably, not just grieving, but the kind of grief that people whisper about, the kind where you don't know what someone's going to do next. And this is where the story takes a turn.
Did anybody else catch that in the script, in the writing? Please tell me. I don't want to jump to conclusions. But if anybody else has picked it out, if you don't know, just say you don't know. But like, yep, Hermie, yep, exactly. That is some AI writing. I fucking know it. I know it in my heart. This is, not only does she use, because she used, where are we? 253. Where did it go? This one.
Hands with visible veins and knuckles, skin texture that looks alarmingly human, like if she blinked, you.
That's AI. So she's using AI video effects, and she's using AI writing. I'm fucking pissed, dude. I'm furious. How dare you?
Started looking at the mannequin differently. And once that switch flips, there's no going back. Because now, looking and letting her is going to do next. And this is where the story takes a turn. Because instead of burying her, instead of letting her go, the rumor says she had her daughter embalmed, dressed in her wedding gown, and placed in the shop window forever. And here's the thing, people didn't just hear that story, they started looking at the mannequin differently. And once that switch flips, there's no going back. Because now, people swear she moves. They swear her eyes follow them across the room. Like you take one step, and she's still looking at you. Employees supposedly refuse to touch her. There's only one person who's allowed to dress her. People say her hands feel too real. Who is touching her? Anyways, that her skin looks different depending on the lighting. That she doesn't look exactly the same every time you see her. And suddenly, every tiny detail becomes evidence. Every shadow, every reflection, same every time you see her. And suddenly, every tiny detail becomes evidence.
This is AI too. Like a lot of this is just AI. Like look at the dress and like look at this detail. So in a dress like this, it's going to be symmetrical, right? You see this little swirl here, a very like, you know, that same swirl is not over here, right? When you're, so that's like a big key thing is non-symmetrical stuff. What even is this? Like it looks like it's trying to copy like a traffic light, but it's nothing. The reflections kind of weird. Like the wires are not also completely nonsensical. Like what is this connecting to? Oh, Lauren, you
every
naughty,
shadow,
naughty,
every reflection,
that's AI?
every slightly different angle is proof that something isn't right. And before you know it, you're not looking at a mannequin anymore. You're looking at a body.
Girl.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. Because the internet has taken the story, wrapped it in a wedding veil, and absolutely lost its mind. We're going to break this down the only way I know how, like a slightly unhinged science experiment. My favorite. We're going to lay out the theories, we're going to test them, and then we're going to see which ones survive. Starting with theory number 1. And theory number 1 says they preserved her really well. So let's go there first, because if we're talking about the best preservation in human history, we have to talk about ancient Egyptian mummification. Just briefly.
The AI is fucking killing me. I'm actually really upset about it.
My favorite thing to talk about. But these bodies, these mummies, have lasted thousands of years. So clearly humans can preserve a body long term, right? But here's what that actually required. Internal organs removed. The body dehydrated with natron salts. Wrapped in layers upon layers of linen. Sealed inside a tomb. Kept.
Now, it might be because we literally just watched Caitlin's video. But, like, isn't this following the same layout as Caitlin's video? It's just longer. And she's using AI to write. Girl, if you... Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. More. Let me see. The transcript. Show transcript. I select all. I'm gonna copy. You just hide this for a second. I want to test something. I'm gonna be so mad. Let's go Microsoft. You know, create and a second. Okay. Here we go. Word. Give me 1 second. I want to see if we can get a blank document. We're gonna paste in the script, and I'm going to expand it, I think. And I want to see if. Come on now. Yeah. I don't use Copilot, so I don't know. Make this longer. Okay. So it's not letting me. So there are some protections in the Microsoft one. So I don't know where ChatGPT lives. We're not going to look into it too much, but I'm just suspicious. Okay, that experiment we cannot continue, unfortunately. But saying that it's a, yeah. We're going to turn that back on. But it is like copyrighted content, so yes. Perfect. Okay, that's interesting. I'm glad that there are some protections, but like obviously there'd be ways to get around this. Anyway,
In a dry, low oxygen.
oh, hold on. Firefox. There we go.
Environment. And most importantly, they were never meant to be seen again. No sunlight, no humidity swings, no air circulation, just stillness. Now compare that to a bridal shop window in Mexico for almost 100 years, with sunlight hitting her face, temperature changes, air exposure, dust, movement. If this were a real preserved human body, she wouldn't look like a bride. I'm telling you that right now, she'd look like an archaeological find. And here's the part not many people are talking about. Her face is full. Her hands are full. Her features are soft, rounded, almost plump. And that alone, that's a dead giveaway to me, because after death, the body loses moisture rapidly. Skin dehydrates and tightens. Lips shrink. Eyes shrink. Features become more angular and hollow. It's why people sometimes say they didn't look like themselves, because that natural softness starts to disappear. Even with embalming, you can temporarily restore appearance, but you are not maintaining that level of fullness for decades, let alone a century. Not without breakdown, not without collapse. La Pascualita, she's giving hydrated, structurally stable, suspiciously intact. I mean, look at her, she slays. Slay. And biologically, that doesn't track. So if this were a real human body, she would absolutely not look like this. Not after a year, not after a decade, and definitely not after 100 years. Somebody's really disappointed right now. They're listening and they're like, I was really hoping that was an embalmed body in the window. I just popped your macabre balloon. I'm so sorry. But anyways, this brings us to theory number 2. I know that was only theory 1. Hang in there with me. I'll have people.
Again, this is really similar to the structure of Caitlin's video. Early, you better not be what you. And we're at like we're like at the 7-minute mark. And that's kind of how I'm just a little suspicious. You know, I don't know about that.
Well, they're like, but explain her hands. And all right, I'll give you this one. Her hands, they're a little creepy. They're unsettling, like deeply unsettling. You can see veins, tendons, knuckle definition, subtle color variation. It's not giving plastic. It's giving, why do you look like you have circulation right now?
And there's that thing. It's not this. It's this. Like, she keeps, that's like and then it's like an weird, esoteric, like nonsensical, like it doesn't mean anything.
Color variation. It's not giving plastic. It's giving, why do you look like you have circulation right now? And this is where people go, nope, that's a body. I'm telling you, that's a body. But I think people are forgetting that mannequins today, like we took a trip down to Target together. We're looking at the mannequins. They are cheap plastic and mass produced. But mannequins in the early 1900s, they were art. High-end mannequins back then were made with wax overlays, hand-painted details, glass eyes that reflect light like real eyes, individually applied beautiful eyelashes, sometimes even real human hair. Because the goal wasn't just to display a wedding dress. The goal was to make you stop and stare. Because if it looked human, you'd connect with it. And if you connected with it, you'd buy the dress. And here's where your brain comes in, because your brain isn't stupid. It's trying to figure out, is this alive? Is it dead? Why does this look like both? You're expecting something called the uncanny valley. That moment where something almost looks human, but not quite. And your brain goes, I don't trust you, but I also can't look away. So when you see her hands, that's your brain glitching. And instead of landing on art, it jumps to, that's a preserved human, because honestly, that feels easier to explain. But if this were actually human tissue, those veins would not look like that. Because remember, dehydration, collapse, and loss of volume, you wouldn't have smooth skin. Every embalmer hopes for that, but you wouldn't have that here. You wouldn't have stability. You'd have breakdown. So no, her hands are not proof that she's human. They're proof that someone was really, really good at their job as a mannequin maker. And honestly,
I'm just like, the AI, I wasn't expecting it. And it's kind of like killed my entire interest in this fucking woman. Like, because like, and I can't not hear it anymore. And the thing is that there's like good video essays, there is bad video essays, and then there's like stuff like this. Because like, not only is it not good, but like, why would I want to read something or listen to something that you didn't even bother to write? Like, because I am no longer responding to Lauren's thoughts and ideas. I'm responding to AI. And it, like, what do I fucking talk about? Like, what is there to fucking talk about? She's barely said anything since, like, the first 8 minutes were structured so similarly to Caitlin's video that I feel like it's possible, I don't know for sure, this is just my opinion, it's possible that it was lifted from Caitlin's video and then the rest was tacked on. Like, it feels like an AI rewrote Caitlin's video and then tacked another 20 minutes on at the end. And it's just, I'm so disappointed. Like, I wanted to actually react to something, but now it's like, can I even do that now? And I'm so disappointed. Well, let's keep going, I guess. Like, what the fuck is there to talk about if it's just like, well, I know that Lauren might not have necessarily said this because she fucking just put it in a machine and it spit this out, in my opinion. That's what it sounds like to me. That makes me not want to fucking watch this video, but we'll keep going, I guess.
That might be even creepier, like House of Wax creepy. I don't know. Which brings us.
I think that her little sides here are probably her own, but like the content of the video essay is not.
To theory number 3. Apparently, she's not just dead. She's also alive.
Again, she's not just blank, she's blank. Like, that's fucking
Haunted? All the above? Yeah. This is where we fully leave logic. Pack it up, put it in a little bitty box,
Maybe
and
it was
just
like
set it on
once
fire.
or
Because
twice,
people
it'd be
don't just
one
think
thing.
she's real. They think she's
It's every other fucking sentence. Because if it was just once or twice, that would be fine. That would not be that suspicious. But she keeps on going, it's not just this, it's that. And then insert weird metaphor or like candid, like, ugh. Oh my god, it's driving me crazy. I'm getting like worked up.
active. Yeah. They say she changes positions overnight, that her hands shift, that her head is tilted differently depending on the day. Some people swear her eyes follow them. You move and she tracks you
She said this earlier.
around the room. And my personal favorite is that the employees won't touch her, that there's always that one designated mysterious person who's allowed to dress her. Because apparently even retail has a nope, that's not my job clause. And listen, I get it. Because if I walked into work and my coworker was like, hey, can you go change the outfit on the possibly haunted bridal corpse in the window? I'm clocking out immediately, respectfully. But let's break this down because there are actual reasons why people feel.
But let's break this down. She said this a couple times already as well, and I think that's another AI typical statement. Lauren has gotten into some controversies. I don't know all of them, but it's been a thing. Anyway, we're gonna keep playing.
Like she moves around. First, lighting. This mannequin is in a window, which means throughout the day, you've got sunlight, shadows, reflections from glass, and people walking by. All of that changes how her face looks, literally, minute by minute. So if something as simple as a shadow shifting across her eyes can make it feel like she just looked at you. Second, perspective. If you've ever looked at a portrait or even like one of those really old, creepy oil paintings, you know how the eyes seem like they always follow you, like in Scooby-Doo? That's not because they're actually moving. Okay, in Scooby-Doo, they did actually move, but not in real life, okay? It's because of how they're painted. Same thing here. Those glass eyes and realistic placement, they're designed to hold your gaze. Third, human brains are dramatic, deeply dramatic. Once you hear the story, like once someone tells you that's a preserved body, your brain stops seeing a mannequin and it starts scanning for proof. Kind of like when you're at your grandma's open casket viewing and your one cousin, I don't know, Fernando, is standing there like, I swear she just breathed. Her chest moved. I saw it. No, you didn't, Fernando. No, you didn't. But what you saw was a shift in lighting, a shadow, maybe your own movement reflected back at you somehow. I don't know how you move, but your brain already decided something weird was happening. So now every tiny little change becomes evidence. Okay, her hand moved. Did it? Or did you just notice it from a different angle? She looks different today. Does she? Or is the lighting different? Your expectation different? Because your brain is constantly trying to confirm what it already believes. And once it decides something is off here, everything becomes suspicious. And I want to circle back really quick to the employee thing. Because yes, there are stories, legit stories, that the staff at the bridal shop, they won't touch her. That only one special person can dress her. That people are uncomfortable being alone with her. Let me translate that for you. You have a mannequin that already looks extremely human in a shop that's been surrounded by this rumor mill for decades, with employees who have definitely heard these stories over and over again. Of course, they're a little weird about it. I mean, I would be too. That's not proof of anything supernatural. That's just being a human with imagination. Because at the end of the day,
I feel like, again, at the end of the day, like,
she's not moving, but your perception of her, that's moving all the time.
she's not this, but da-da-da.
But let's bring it back to the real question, because creepy stories aside, if La Pascualita...
And let's bring it back to the real question. That's another AIism. And like, again, like in like isolation, none of these are that suspicious. None of these are that weird. But stacking on top of each other is weird. Let's bring it back. Exactly. It's like, this isn't fucking AI fucking like is this written with ChatGPT? I'm fucking mad.
was actually a
Yeah,
preserved
we are
human
repeating a lot of things. We are repeating a lot of things.
body. Could that realistically happen? Let's actually think about this. Could someone embalm a person,
So I
pose
should-
them like this, put them on display, and have them still look this intact all these years later? Because if we're entertaining that idea, what we're really talking about is something called extreme embalming. And you might be like, Lauren, what is extreme embalming? I'm so glad
We
you
already
asked, Brenda.
talked
Extreme
about
embalming is exactly what it
embalming.
sounds like. It's when someone is embalmed and then posed in a way that reflects how they lived. And yes, this is a very real thing. One of the most famous cases I've seen, that's my favorite, was in Puerto Rico around 2014, where a man was embalmed and displayed sitting on his motorcycle, fully posed, hands on the handlebars, leather outfit on, just ready to ride into the afterlife. I mean, like, this guy was buried on his motorcycle down into the ground. And people saw that and they were like, absolutely not. There's no way. And it was very much a yes way situation. And that's not even the only one. There have been multiple cases also in Puerto Rico, mostly in the early 2010s, where people were embalmed and posed, including one where a man was seated at a poker table, cards in his hand, sunglasses on, just mid-game, like, sir is not folding, not even in death. And listen, before we go any further, I have to say this. The embalmers behind those extreme embalming cases do not get enough credit. Embalmers in general do not get enough credit, because embalming is an art. It's not like a painting where you get to sign your name in the corner and be like, yeah, that was me. No, you signed paperwork, that's your glory. But the actual work is what you see. Positioning a
Sorry,
body
the
like that,
AI
getting it to hold in position and
shit
making it
is
look
just getting
natural,
to
making
me.
it not look like a mannequin or a bad situation, that takes serious skill. So behind every one of those wild viral, what the hell am I looking at moments, is someone who knew exactly what they were doing. Now, if you don't already, let's put on our embalmer hats for a second, okay? Because I can already hear someone in the comments, okay, what if La Pascualita really was embalmed? All right, let's talk about it more. When we embalm someone, yes, we are trying to restore volume, soften features, make them look more like themselves. Because I cannot say this enough, death is dehydrating. Everything sinks, everything tightens, everything changes. So embalming is us going, okay, let's gently undo or delay some of that. But here's where my brain starts spiraling, because even on the best day, with the best embalmer, with the best chemicals, I'm talking, you have a guy in the back of the funeral home named Frank, and he's like the best embalmer you've ever hired at the funeral, and he was there and he had his best day ever, absolute performance of his career embalming. We have to remember that embalming is temporary. We're talking days, maybe weeks, maybe months if Frank ate his Wheaties that morning. Everything is perfect, and I mean perfect. You might stretch that to a year, but we are not getting multiple years, multiple decades, or a century of someone looking like this. And that's before we even get into the positioning of the body, because I have done positioning cases. I don't even know if that's a proper term for that, but we're going with it. Positioning cases. I'm going to tell you story time right now. I had a gentleman one.
If you're an expert, shouldn't you know what the technical term is for it? Lauren. I need to check out. I need to check something. Why this lady's LinkedIn? Oh, do I need to log in? Okay, hold on a second, guys. Okay, I'm not finding her. Found a nanny. Like, I'm not finding her on LinkedIn. Like, there's a graphic designer. None of those are her. Wait, hold on a second. No, that's not her. No. I'm gonna start sharing that again. Hold on. Bing, bing, bing. She works as a licensed mortician. Oh my god, she's my age. What the fuck? Well, she's a Sagittarius. That would be it. I'm joking. Okay. That's unpopular birthdays. Here we go. Here we go. This looks AI. Fine. Lauren Frost? This looks AI generated. This is not Lauren. The fuck is this? Yeah, they're just fucking no. Hideous. Okay, let me see. She's young, beautiful, hot, and has a stunning figure. She definitely didn't write this herself. But she has a chubby build, but she's slender? What? Huh? What the fuck is this? I don't know what the fuck? Okay, so there, the Mary Sue has a... It's Jamie Grayson was the person that did the car seat shit. The controversy. Yes. Yeah. I'm honestly not sure what her like it says that she claims to be licensed, and like I have no I have my doubts, but like I have no reason to actually bring that up as I have nothing to show her. She says she is. I have not been able to find any any information on the controversy on the contrary. So like maybe she is a licensed mortician and she's just stupid. But anyway.
Time who only ever slept on his stomach. And that's how his family remembered him. And that's how they wanted to see him in the casket. So we embalmed him. And then we turned him onto his stomach, literally on the prep table during the embalming procedure. Once we had everything set up, going, embalming, pressure, everything set. And I'm not going to lie, in the moment, I'm like, okay, we're doing this. And it worked.
This is a month old. So like, this isn't like, oh, AI was just starting out. We didn't know how bad it was. Like, she should know better.
Worked beautifully. But here's the key. We had to position him that way immediately and hold him that way while everything set. Because embalming is not just preservation, it's timing. It's
not just this, it's that.
You want someone posed a certain way, you don't just move them later like a mannequin. You can't. You physically can't. You have to embalm them in that position and maintain it. So the embalming chemicals set the tissues that way. Now take that concept and multiply it. Because the second you take a body and try to stand it upright, you are now fighting physics. And gravity is not your friend. Everything wants to move downward. Fluids, pressure, anything not perfectly sealed is now a potential problem. And when I say problem, I mean leakage from literally anywhere. You'd be surprised. Everywhere. And that is not something you want happening in a public display. display, especially not in front of the family. Then you have structure, right? Because now the question becomes, how am I even keeping this person standing upright? There's no muscle tone after death, no natural support. So in extreme embalming, you're working with external supports, sometimes leaning them against something because they are not just standing there all by themselves, defying gravity on vibes alone. And even then, those setups are temporary. They are monitored, they are adjusted, not left alone in a shop window for years.
No, I'm done with this video. It's AI slop. We're gonna move on to the next one. I'm so pissed, actually. How fucking dare you? Like, again, if it was her writing, I'd have stuff to say. I could talk about how oh my god. Okay, take a deep breath, Krim. It's okay. Let it out. If it was stuff that I knew that she was writing, I could talk about her tone. I could talk about her word choice. I can't talk about any of that because she didn't make those choices consciously because it's AI. She wrote this with AI. I am like 99.99% certain that's what she did. And so there's nothing to talk about here because none of this was choices that Lauren made. Everything. And I'm furious about it. Like, this is not thought-provoking. Like, it's just fucking garbage. And I'm very upset about it, actually. Alright. But, like, maybe she doesn't do that for every video. So, we're going to go to a different topic. This video by Caitlin is from 3 years ago. And Lauren covered the same topic 9 months ago. We're talking water cremation. You could argue that this is a little clickbaity. How one man kept water cremation illegal. I'll give you that. But I still think that it's being presented as like a educational topic. So, we're gonna watch this, see what she talks about, and then we're gonna see how Lauren talks about the same topic. And if Lauren's video is another AI script, I'm going to shit my pants. I'm gonna poop all over it in my pants because I'll be so angry. Let's watch.
Welcome to the...
We are going to playback speed because this is a little, longer video. We're gonna play
Indiana General Assembly. Let's meet Representative Dick Ham.
Hello.
Okay, just 3 seconds in and already shame to anyone making humorous shenanigans out of this man's name.
Dick Ham.
He is Representative Dick Ham. Richard Ham, first of his name, born to Mr. and Mrs. Ham of Hamsbury.
Show some respect.
Dick Ham was part of a group of lawmakers who, in 2015, were debating whether or not to legalize the aquamation process in the fine state of Indiana. Now, if you don't remember, when I lounged in a bath while explaining aquamation,
Alkaline hydrolysis? What's that? Some kind of corpse spa treatment?
which I was later roasted for by a drag queen,
You can't see today's pendant because it slipped beneath the murky waters.
then a primer. Think of aquamation, aka alkaline hydrolysis, aka water cremation, as dissolving the dead body with a final bath, aqua, as opposed to a final flame, cree, or fire. In an aquamation, the body is placed in a mix of high heat water and potassium hydroxide. Pressure is applied, and the body decomposes down to its chemical components. You essentially dissolve into the water. Whether you choose water cremation or fire cremation, your corpse will end the process as a container of crushed bones, which your family can take home, scatter, or bury. But we already have cremation. Why do we need aquamation too?
What do we need aquamation to?
Well, there's the environmental aspect. Aquamation uses just 1/4 of the energy of a flame cremation, and has no emissions like carbon dioxide.
So, Caitlin is explaining the benefits of aquamation or water cremation. So, and what it is, the benefits of it, why would we would want to do it, because it's better for the environment. Now, drinking people, Mortician explains water cremation does not exactly sound positive. So that's interesting. I am gonna poop my pants, Anthony. Fucking
side and
Lauren writes with AI, and I can't. It's not fair. Like I can't. Like, what is there? Yeah, you guys already heard my screed about that.
mercury vapor from dental fillings. There's more reasons you might choose aquamation. We'll come back to those. But first, Dick Ham.
Dick Ham.
In 2015, when Dick Ham and his fellow legislators were debating the Indiana aquamation bill, the process itself was already established and well tested. It had been legalized in 10 other states and had been used for years at medical schools like the Mayo Clinic and UCLA. But still, every new death option, looking at you, aquamation, looking at you, human composting, looking at you, Caitlin-mation. Caitlin-mation is when you donate your body to my body farm and I don't tell you what happens to it ever. Just don't worry about it, okay? Every new death option is considered guilty until proven innocent. But in Indiana, it was looking good. The bill had already passed through the House's Public Health Committee and was marching toward legalization. Then, onto the Indiana House floor stepped Representative Dick Ham. Ham took the microphone and began to speak his truth.
A country is great when it takes care of its dead. We keep going backwards and backwards and backwards, taking care of the people we're supposed to love. And you can tell I feel pretty passionate about this. I urge you to vote no on this bill.
What would cause Representative Ham to come out so strongly against this death care bill? I know what you're thinking. Those partisan American politics. Ham was a Republican, but so was the lawmaker who introduced the aquamation bill. Representative Ham, it appears you have more to say?
We're gonna put the bodies in acid and just let them dissolve away, and then we're gonna let them run down the drain out into the sewers and whatever.
There is a lot to unpack there. As I mentioned, aquamation uses high heat water and alkali to rapidly decompose the dead body.
Now, I will say, again, we haven't watched the video yet, but Lauren has been accused of following right-wing pundits and Republicans. And it's interesting that her concerns are the same what misinformation that Dick Ham was spouting. Anyway.
No offense to acid, but it's the wrong pH for the job. Your local funeral director isn't stuffing your mom into a barrel of acid. He's a funeral director, Dick, not a drug kingpin on a Netflix drama.
Wanna buy some drugs, Jason Bateman?
As for dissolving bodies down the drain, he's referring to the small amount of neutralized and sterilized amino acids, peptides, and salts that may go down the drain, or sometimes are donated to local farms. But that's not any different than the blood, bile, and intestinal fluid that is also sent down the drain during an embalming procedure. Now next, for some reason, Representative Ham starts coming after regular cremation, which is legal. You can't, no backsies on that one.
When you cremate somebody, 20% of that body does not cremate. It has to be crushed, sometimes beat up with a hammer.
My guess is that Mr. Dick Ham has ties to the funeral industry. That's my guess.
Cremation leaves behind 6 to 8 pounds of inorganic bone fragments. These bone fragments are pulverized by a machine into uniform, scatterable ashes. Thinking back to my time as a crematory operator, I'm imagining Ham's belief that I stood there individually smashing bones and uncooked organs with a hammer, just whack, 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 whack. Representative Ham's anti-aquamation diatribe would have been more amusing in retrospect if it hadn't worked. His speech took what was an uncontentious Republican proposed bill and ended its life, resulting in a final vote of 34 to 59 against legalizing aquamation in Indiana. What's a shame is that we may never understand why Representative Ham was so against— I'm sorry. What's that you said? In addition to being a representative in the state of Indiana, Dick Ham also owns a casket company.
Let's fucking go.
I'm sorry,
Of course he
owns
does.
2 casket companies?
Yeah, I fucking
And
called
was the
it.
president of the Casket and Funeral Supply Association of America?
Hail to the chief.
But that would mean Dick Ham stood to lose the most financially from a passage of a bill legalizing aquamation. Oh, I see. If a family chooses aquamation over a more conventional burial, the family would no longer be required to purchase thousands, often tens of thousands of dollars worth of funeral products, caskets and vaults and headstones. Given those very same caskets are made by Ham, he probably should have recused himself from voting on that one, something Ham not only didn't do, but came to give a speech on the House floor wildly mischaracterizing the process as putting Grandma on a one-way trip to a sewer-bound acid bath. Ham would later acknowledge that aquamation
Could reduce the need for cremation, caskets, or whatever.
but told the Indianapolis Star he saw no conflict of interest and no need to recuse himself from the vote.
I'm not worried about it from the standpoint of how many caskets we're going to sell or not sell because of that particular means of disposing bodies. I'm thinking about it from the standpoint of it's just not very human.
In 2018, Representative Dick Never Apologize Ham, 3-time incumbent, was voted out in his Republican primary. His challenger received more than double his vote total, but the damage was already done, and aquamation remains illegal in the state of Indiana. When you hear a story like this, it's easy to believe there's a shadowy cabal of funeral industry people who are against these new options.
We don't like it, Caitlin.
And it certainly felt like that when I started my career 15 years ago. But today, there's not a fully united funeral industry. Here are my completely unscientific made-up statistics on this. Percentages, courtesy, nothing. My brain, don't quote me. Can we also do a fake chart here? I'm gonna say, anecdotally, 25% of funeral directors are genuinely excited about aquamation, as well as organic reduction, that's human composting, becoming available for their families and themselves. Then there are 50% of the funeral directors who are sort of in the middle, ambivalent. They see the funeral industry as a business. They're open-minded folks and willing to put out new options on their price list and see how it goes. Then there are the final 25% who are in the ham camp. The hamp, if you will.
You want some beans?
Ham is far from the only funeral industry person I've heard disparage or downright refuse to understand aquamation. Our former state funeral home inspector, let's call him Jack, had a long career as an embalmer.
Hi.
Jack, who I always liked, by the way, was very open about his affinity for the old ways of funeral service. When he found out I was pushing for the legalization of aquamation in California, he looked at me and said,
So, you want to be the one to make Mom into a stew?
Jack, you know that's not what aquamation is.
I guess Mom wants to be 1 part hot water, 1 part caustic chemicals.
In fairness, most Americans don't know what aquamation is, but most Americans aren't state funeral board inspectors. I didn't say that to Jack, I should have. I get that this final group of funeral directors can seem comically villainous. But try as we might to frame it this way on the internet, most people are not one-dimensional villains. I'm not and they're not. Many of these funeral directors really do believe it's somehow disrespectful for a body to be dissolved or to decompose naturally into the earth.
So I like this, that she is humanizing the other side, you know, giving some benefit of the doubt. It's like, yeah, like, I don't agree with them, but like, they're still humans, they still have their beliefs, and there's a reason they have these beliefs. So I appreciate that. I just want to say I appreciate her being compassionate on the issue, I guess we could say that. Also, I need to turn my light on, so give me 1 second. It's dark. I return. It wasn't very long. Okay, let's go.
And to be fair, it's not just the funeral directors who have a profound fear of decomposition, which brings us to the media.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad.
Let's take a trip down memory lane and look at some old aquamation headlines. The fight to legalize a machine that melts flesh from bone. A cremation process that leaves only bones and brown syrup. Plans for water cremation on hold due to fear of liquefied people in sewers. Have a glass of Grandad. Plan to flush the dead down the drain. Forget cremation. Alkaline hydrolysis is the eco-friendly way to dispose of the dead, but it means turning them into goo. The subtitle of the goo headline is Caitlin Doughty, a mortician from Los Angeles, describes the process. Editor's note, Doughty did not, in fact, describe the aquamation process as turning bodies into goo. I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I think we're getting over the hump of those Wild West early headlines on green death technology. After his death earlier this year, the Archbishop Desmond Tutu chose to be aquamated. Look at these headlines. What is aquamation? The green alternative to cremation. South Africans intrigued by Desmond Tutu's choice of aquamation. Tutu's very principled and unorthodox choice, unorthodox especially for South Africa, humanized the process. You can't write the headline, Archbishop turned to goo, flush the Archbishop down the drain. Not only would it be disrespectful, but as a news source, you're required to do the work to find out what's really true about the process, and why green funeral advocates, including Desmond Tutu, would make this choice. Ironically, I don't think composting, perhaps because it came about a few years later, has had it quite as bad as aquamation. Human composting becomes an option in Washington. But is it for everyone? Americans are being turned into human compost to save the planet. Sure, there are still some doozies. Letters to the editor. Composting dead bodies is disrespectful. What's next? Soylent Green? Composting corpses is creepy and wrong. Human composting. The ultimate denial of the soul. Here's the thing. Historically, we've seen this all play out before with your friend and mine, cremation.
Hey girl.
Funeral industry hating it, the Catholic Church banning it, the media sensationalizing it. We've been down this road before. In 1981, a headline in the Chicago Sun-Times asked, thinking of choosing cremation? Beware, as grisly tales discourage it. An article warned that, quote, ghastly things happen to bodies inside cremation chambers. They're cremated? Presumably. If you actually read the article, the expose was not about the cremation process, but funeral directors who were convincing grieving families to select burial over cremation with lines like,
Have you ever fried frog's legs? Have you ever seen bacon cooking on a skillet? Would you burn your children?
An investigation found that families were visiting funeral homes and being told cremation was the equivalent of putting mom in the garbage disposal, and advised they would be, quote,
tormented later by guilt and remorse.
The article's message was an important public service. Do your own research on cremation and don't let a funeral director talk you out of it. But should you be scanning the headlines with your morning coffee, all you would see is that grisly and gruesome tales discourage cremation. But as I've been saying for years, no one, especially not the government or funeral directors, should get to be the arbiter of what is objectively gruesome and what is objectively meaningful ritual when it comes to the dead body. Take the legalization of aquamation in my home state of Hawaii. A large part of the advocacy around it came from Native Hawaiian groups. The bones themselves are at the center of traditional Hawaiian funeral practice, as they are where a person's spirit, or mana, lives. Historically, the bones would be placed in an underground oven, an imu, in order to clean flesh from bone. State Senator Jarrett Keohokalole, who proposed the aquamation legalization, said, "You know in modern Hawaii, ohana are not allowed to make an imu next to the beach to practice their burial practices in the old style." He's saying, essentially, you can't dig a corpse defleshing oven on the beach, which I think you should be able to do. But through aquamation, the family can receive the bones back, white and defleshed, akin to what they would receive after the imu process. It's using modern technology as a bridge between the old ways and modern life. As of July 2022, aquamation for humans was signed into law. Yay. Several years earlier, in 2017, it was time to try and legalize the process in California. Again, a legalization bill had already failed once, back in 2010. Rumor was the failure had been quietly aided by a large corporate funeral chain.
We'll get ya.
Allegedly. This new bill was introduced by Assemblyman Todd Gloria, who represented San Diego, the location of a new water cremation manufacturer, Kiko. Kiko was founded by two colleagues of mine who realized it would have to be all hands on deck to get the bill passed this time around. This time, the bill was voted through various committees without much fanfare. Not even the Catholic Church could stop it, though they did try.
The power of Christ compels you!
They're always trying it, the Catholic Church.
God himself who commands you.
Little rascals.
Who, me?
But suddenly, bad news. The bill had stalled in the Appropriations Committee, the committee where bills get funded, the how much is this going to cost us committee. My nonprofit, the Order of the Good Death, loves this type of challenge. We researched all the lawmakers involved, how to best reach them, and turned to you, the Green Death Avengers, to write letters and lead social media campaigns. The head of the committee was Assemblywoman Lorena Gonzalez, who, in her guide for online advocates and campaigns, requested the use of cute animal photos and GIFs.
So we're dipping into Caitlin's other interests of not just like educating on like funeral rites and like morbid mysteries surrounding corpses, but also her advocacy for death positivity, green deaths, and in general like having more advocacy about how you would like to I suppose dispose of your loved ones. I don't think that's the right word, but like, you know what I mean? Like how you want to remember them, preserve them, / like whatever you want to do with them, with the remains. Like she advocates for control over that and like having things like living will and everything. So yeah, so she's tying that part into this video, which makes sense to me because that's like a big part. She's a huge advocate for that kind of thing.
I am absolutely not kidding. And thus, we were going to shower this powerful woman, keeper of the Royal Californian coin, with all the adorable animal gifts she could handle. Here's a tweet from our executive director, Sarah Chavez.
Lorena Gonzalez, please support lower-cost green options for working, grieving families.
Hundreds of you went to work. And that very night, Assemblywoman Gonzalez tweeted,
#I need wine. Why? Among other issues, I have morticians tweeting at me.
When I tell you my heart sank. The Assemblywoman had said she wanted all those cat gifts. Had we sent too many cat gifts? Are morticians sending cat gifts somehow more threatening? Or did she not understand aquamation and think it was a ghoulish process, a Dick Ham acid bath that was bad for California?
It's bad for California.
If only there was some way to speak to her directly. My eyes glanced over to her Twitter message button. Were her direct messages open? You can't just slide into the DMs of the chair of the California Assembly Appropriations Committee. Or can you? I'm sorry to see you put morticians tweeting at you on a list of negative things, my direct message began. I regret this opener. In retrospect, this sounds sort of passive-aggressive, which was not my intention. In my defense, this was my first time DMing an Assemblywoman. I introduced myself and explained I owned a small funeral home in Los Angeles, and Californians really deserved this environmentally friendly option. I explained we were passionate, not creepy, not entirely true, nice folks, happy to answer any question to get this bill passed. Not only did she reply, she replied fast.
I'm sorry if it sounded negative. You all are doing an exceptional job of blowing up my personal Twitter feed.
Ma'am, with all due respect, this is your public Assemblywoman Twitter, and your desire for animal gifts was explicitly stated. Assemblywoman Gonzalez admitted the aquamation process was actually one of the most interesting things she had coming in front of her, and was
impressed by the reach and breadth of folks tweeting at me.
She was extremely professional and thanked us for challenging her view of who works in death and who cares about this legislation. In a few days, the bill unstalled, passed through the Appropriations Committee, went to the governor, and aquamation is now legal in the state of California. Now, I'm not saying it was 100% your cat gifts that did it, but I think they really helped. Depending on how you view this situation, it can either be a dystopian tale of lobbying in the 21st century or a heartwarming tale of access and advocacy. To me, Assemblywoman Gonzalez being willing to directly correspond with me was impressive. For the last 100 years, lobbying has come from the funeral industry. Money, lobbyists, men like Representative Dick Ham. Now the lobbying can also come quite forcefully from normal fans of water dissolution like you and me.
After our experience with the Aquamation bill, we were feeling quite confident when the work began to legalize composting in California.
We should not have been. What I've learned is that every time you feel like you're on a roll, sliding into important DMs, your ego will quickly be bruised, your voice will not be heard, like in my case, literally not heard, like the time Katrina Spade and I were supposed to testify in front of the Senate. The bill is 7th on the docket at around 11:30 in the morning, but in reality, the bill wasn't heard until 3:30 in the afternoon after fervent debates on blockchain, nursing licenses, and puppies, kittens, and rabbits for sale. At last,
Caitlin? We have Caitlin Doughty speaking in support of the bill,
announces the chairman. Silence echoes through the Senate chamber. Caitlin was waiting in a COVID-era perdition hellscape of hold music on some AT&T teleconference line. I never got through to testify, neither did Katrina. No one testified in favor of the composting bill as we just listened to the hold music as the senators moved past us. That day I was so wrapped up in this little fiasco, I forgot it was my parents' 50th wedding anniversary.
Caitlin.
How could you?
I'm a bad daughter and an ineffective advocate. So you have your little cry, your tiny dirge for your ego, and you move on. We've talked about this before, but in 2020, the composting bill was killed due to pandemic funding. In 2021, it was killed because Governor Gavin Newsom was facing a statewide recall vote, and California Democrats were not interested in standing out too much, quote, for being weird by having him vote on human composting. Every time, hundreds of letters from you, so much work from Katrina's team and the sponsor, Assemblymember Garcia's office, and you can't help but feel like it's all going to waste. But we chip away, one letter, one law, one cat gif at a time. And each time it begins to feel more normal, more sure, more inevitable. So, in 2022, hundreds of you wrote again. And last month, it was legalized in California. At this point, you may be saying, composting, aquamation, this is my destiny for my future corpse, bring it to my place of death, how can I help? Well, just find a lawmaker who's super pumped to sponsor a bipartisan composting aquamation bill. Done. I mean, if you can do that, great. But realistically, it's about the power of sheer numbers. Of you letting your representatives and government know it's what you want. Be relentless, be passionate. It's your right and privilege to tell them what you want. If you're working on a bill in your state with sponsorship, let my organization know we can work with you to coordinate and signal boost. Our nonprofit is launching a podcast to speak more in depth on issues we're working on, and this month we're getting into the nitty-gritty of the legalization process. I'll be talking to Katrina Spade, composting guru, and Sarah Chavez, the Order's executive director. I'll link that below.
Okay. Oh, hold on.
Hi, do you like things like this? And
Okay, now that she's talking about her books and stuff. Okay, so... Okay, that was very educational. It covered a lot of different topics. I liked it. She's a little funny, a little quirky. We love that. We love Caitlin. Let's go, Caitlin. So glad she's actually making a difference in the field that she's passionate about. I love Caitlin. Anyway... The Bogglebonk negotiation tactic. It really is. So, that brings us to Miss Lauren's video. We're from the West Coast to the East Coast. Going down to Florida. Let me see. Aquamation, Florida. Is it legal? Not Aquamotion. Here you go. There's one. Boo-boo. I think this is another... That looked like another AI. Fucking dead internet theories. Dead internet theory bullshit. Okay, Florida aquamation for both pets and humans is approved. Cool, cool, cool. Nice. Okay. So. Yes, please subscribe to Caitlin. She is lovely. I don't think she's on Nebula, but I know that I think she's friends with that crowd. So, let's go.
Just another morbid Monday. It's just another morbid Monday. That was perfect. Okay, I love you, but you gotta go down. Here we go. We're ready. Hey there, my curious little corpse crew. Or maybe you're just a mildly horrified looker. I can't say that. Lurker. The word is lurker, and I can't say it. Or maybe you're just a mildly horrified lurker who clicked this thinking, did she just say water cremation? Yes, I did. Welcome to the channel where science is spooky, death is weird, and I'm your Mortician tour guide to the afterlife and all its deliciously disturbing options. I'm Lauren, your resident funeral director with a flair for the morbid and mildly educational. And today we are diving, not literally, into the steamy, bubbly, misunderstood world of water cremation, also known as alkaline hydrolysis, also known as aquamation, also known as boil the body and return the bones, but we're not going to call it that. I learned my lesson after YouTube slapped me with a violation for saying a certain unmentionable word in my last video. Thanks, Marilyn Monroe. So today we're keeping it clean. Well, as clean as we can while we talk about a process that literally turns your body into hot soup. But this isn't just
So she is being very okay.
a surface level splash. Oh no, we're going deep, like lots of minutes deep. We're talking who came up with this and weirdly eco-friendly idea, what actually happens to your body during the process, no jump scares, I promise, why the Catholic Church is mad about it, and whether or not your local tap water now contains bits of Steve from accounting. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. So grab a drink, snuggle up with your favorite pet or emotional support skeleton, and let's break.
Thank you for making sure we know that it's not that bad, but like I do not appreciate that being part of your clickbait. I don't appreciate it, Miss Lauren. But thank you for within the first 2 minutes saying that there is no people in the water. Soylent Green is not, we're not eating Soylent Green. Thank you.
This down the only way I know how, with curiosity, compassion, and probably a few jokes that make my licensing board nervous. But anyways, moving on. Okay, before I go into water cremation, Hannah, can you put my intro there? Cue the intro! Let's start with the basics. What is water cremation? Water cremation, formerly known as alkaline hydrolysis, is a method of body disposition that uses water, heat, and a gentle alkaline solution to break a human body down into bone and liquid. No fire, no smoke, no flames, just science. Think of it like a spa treatment for the dead.
Okay, that's one tick on my AI detection. Think of it like that's one tick. Okay, I'll give her a chance. Like maybe she just said that because people do say think of it like. So I'll give her one. 3 strikes, you're out, girl.
But instead of cucumber water and whale sounds, it's 95% water, 5% potassium hydroxide, a closed, pressurized chamber, and a few hours of simmer time. The result? A sterile liquid. We'll talk more about that soon. Soft, white bones that are dried and returned to the family as cremated remains, and 0 DNA, disease, or creepy residue in the water. That part is important. Write it down, highlight it, tattoo it on your brain right now. Water cremation is marketed as a gentler, greener alternative to flame cremation. It produces about 1/10 of the carbon emissions, uses significantly less energy, and doesn't involve burning natural gas to incinerate your corpse at 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. Environmentally, it's kind of the overachiever of the death world. Now that we know what water cremation is, let's talk about who the hell came up with this bubbling cauldron of human reduction. Because, spoiler alert, it wasn't a yoga-loving environmentalist sipping kombucha in a forest. Nope. The whole thing started way back in the 1800s, and honestly, the backstory is so much grosser than you think. So let's rewind to the year 1888. The same.
So she is focusing on the grossness of it, which, like, I have mixed feelings because she is being like, well, technically it's not, like, she is, like, saying, like, yeah, no, this is, but she's still playing up the disgust factor. And I don't like that.
Same year, the first
wasn't the spa for the dead bit in the previous video. It might have been.
Wax drinking straw was.
Hold on a second. Okay, this was made this year, and Caitlin's was made in 2022. So
patented. Vincent van Gogh was painting Starry Night, and oh, some guy decided to invent a machine to liquefy dead animals. Enter Amos Herbert Hobson, British-born, American immigrated, possibly the original mad scientist Mortician. This guy patented a pressurized steam device to break down animal carcasses with water and chemicals. The goal, to extract fat from dead things and turn it into soap. Yes, soap. Suddenly that Victorian lavender bar feels a little less charming, doesn't it? And here's the part I cannot make up. He allegedly tested his early prototypes using a bathtub, like a regular, horrifyingly non-sterile Victorian clawfoot bathtub. Just picture it, Amos in his little lab coat, or probably just his suspenders, cooking up cow carcasses in a bath like it's beef stew Sunday. Except the stew is made of skin. And the end goal is fat extraction. This is literally the origin story of a horror villain. Of course, he eventually refined the process into something.
That's strike 2 on my AI, my AI dar.
More industrial, but that tub time tissue tenderizer was a crucial first step. Fast forward to the 1990s, science was booming. The X-Files was on TV, and university labs were dealing with a real problem: radioactive cadavers. Imagine you're a researcher and you've got a body that's been dosed with radioactive isotopes for medical testing. You can't burn it. You can't bury it. What do? Enter alkaline hydrolysis 2.0.
I'm gonna hit play, but like that feels like a third strike to me. Maybe I'm being a little bit too It's giving AI.
Dr. Gordon Kay and Dr. Peter Weber at Albany Medical College resurrected Hobson's creepy invention with a scientific twist. They created the modern Resomator, it's a prototype, as a safer, cleaner way to dispose of contaminated biological material. And then, in 2005, the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota said, hey, what if we use this on people? Cue gasps. Cue ethical debates. Cue a whole bunch of funeral directors going, wait, we can do what now? Thus began the modern era of water cremation. And like any good spooky trend, it started slow. Minnesota was the first state to legalize it, then came Florida, Oregon, and California. Now nearly 30 states are on board. The Catholics, however, we'll get to them, don't worry. But here's the kicker. While the science improved, the court
Look. Maybe I am just bitter as a YouTuber with a much smaller following than Miss Lauren here. But like, as someone who has such a high standard for themselves when it comes to video essays, like, not only like there's a reason I don't do any more just regular, just reviewing a thing, because I think that for me personally, just grabbing something that just came out while the irons are hot and making a review on it is not enough for me. I feel like I'm not making a point, so I stopped doing it. I need to have a topic, a message that I want to convey before I even start making a video. Otherwise, there's no point. So I need a good topic. I need something that I care about, and then I write it myself. And not only do I think that she's resting on really lazy writing, but she's not even writing a lot of this herself. It's so nakedly AI. It's so obvious if you know what to look for. And it's really disappointing, because they're like, if you just like type in some bullshit and then like chuck it into an AI and it's like, make this into an essay format, then you read it out, and then that's it. That's then you, I don't know, probably pay somebody else to edit it, and like your workflow is like, oh god. Like I do say, you know, it does take some effort to like set up camera, like dress a set, etc., etc. I get that. And so like I know that like shooting the video in and of itself and coming up with some little ad libs, I know that that is in and of itself a process, and it's not easy, but it upsets me that like she's getting 348,000 views on a video she didn't even fucking write. Girl, give us nothing.
Our concept hasn't changed in over a century. It's still a sealed chamber, alkaline water, gentle heat, and time. Only now, instead of animal carcasses or lab rats, it's, well, grandpa. So yeah, you could say water cremation has a very bubbly backstory. But now that we've covered the who, when, and why of this morbid machine, let's talk about what actually happens inside of one. Because it's not just pop in the body, wait a few hours, and...
I don't want to watch it. Like, I don't want to watch AI because I have nothing to say other than this is AI and I hate it. Because again, if I am responding to a person that is writing and it's their own writing, I could talk about and analyze why they chose to make the points they did and present them in the way it did. I can't do that with AI. There's no point in doing it because they didn't actually make those points. So, like, I feel like I don't have anything to work with. So I'm a little upset. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to play it for a little bit longer. And I think I'm going to stop getting so worked up. We know it's AI. We know it's AI. I'm going to stop getting worked up about that. We're going to focus on how if she chooses to focus on educational versus gross out topics. And like, I feel like that's really the only thing we can do right now because like, otherwise, like, it's not her writing. Sure. The only thing that's her is the asides. In my opinion, like that's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like most of this is written by an AI and she has like a couple of sides that she makes. But like, in my opinion, this is AI written with ChatGPT or something.
Collect up what's left. There's chemistry, there's bone drying, and yes, there's a high-pressure water jet involved. So buckle up, we're going inside the machine. I feel like we're on the magic school bus and I'm taking you inside the machine right now. Do you feel it? Envision it. Moving on. All right, my little death detectives, let's talk about what really happens when someone is water cremated. Because this isn't just put body in, take goo out. There's real chemistry, real pressure, real time involved. And by the end of this, you'll understand exactly how we go from person to powdered bones and a beaker of broth. The body is fully clothed or in a shroud, depending on the facility's preference, is gently placed into a sealed stainless steel chamber. And this thing looks like a cross between a futuristic coffin and a commercial dishwasher, or the Ocean Gate submarine. I mean, take your pick. There are two types of machines. Did you know that? There's two types of water aquamation machines on the market today, but we'll get to those soon. But for now, we'll go over the basics. Once inside the chamber, it's filled with a solution that's 95% water and 5% potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide. This creates a super alkaline liquid with a pH of around 13 to 14. That's more basic than bleach, more powerful than drain cleaner, and weirdly gentle on your bones. That solution is heated to somewhere between 200 to 300 degrees, depending on the machine model. For context, boiling is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So this isn't a roiling boil, more like a low simmer. Over the next several hours, and
I'm getting angry again. So she's going into the pure science of it. And then, you know, it's all stated like how an AI would state it. But she is going into the pure science.
Anywhere from 3 to 16 hours. Again, depending on the pressure and the heat level, the body slowly breaks down. What breaks down? Great question. I'd love to tell you. Soft tissue, muscles, organs, skin, cartilage, even the brain. These all liquefy into a sterile amber fluid made up of amino acids, peptides, sugars, and salts. Yes, that's what's left of you. Now here's the tricky part. The skull. The cranium is a protective fortress. For the water and alkaline solution to fully dissolve the brain and inner tissues, it has to reach inside. Different machines handle this in different ways. Some machines, I know you've seen them online, they have a rocking motion, a gentle side to side, which shifts the fluid throughout the body to naturally circulate it into the skull cavity. And by naturally, I mean there's like a spike on one end. So eventually you slide and then you get when I'm laying down. Anyways, think Olaf. I've been impaled. Can we insert that clip here?
I've been impaled.
Anyways, others use a directed water jet at the head end of the chamber, encouraging thorough circulation to every anatomical region. Let me be clear. There's no cracking open happening in some gruesome mechanical way. There's no skull saws, no pickaxes, just careful fluid dynamics, motion, and time. The whole process is
And again, this is suspiciously similar. Some of these, they are talking about the same issue, but like suspiciously similar to some of the stuff that Caitlin said. I'll just say. Which, if Caitlin's video was scraped by AI, doesn't surprise me. If that's, if that's the case.
Closed, sterile, and completely respectful. Think less horror movie, more high-tech spa. When the cycle is complete, the
It's so obvious. The AI is so obvious it's hurting my feelings.
chamber is drained, and we're left with two things. The liquid, a sterile, pathogen-free solution, no blood, no flesh, no DNA. I'm gonna say that again. There's no DNA in the water that's left over. It is safe to dispose of through the municipal wastewater system, where it goes through the same treatment process as everything else that you flush. Think about what you flush on a daily basis, by the way. You flush more human DNA down that toilet than what is put into the drain from water cremation. Fun fact. The bones, I wanna talk about the bones. The bones are chalk white. I've never held wet bones before. I did after processing a water cremation. They're chalk white, brittle, clean, and soft like coral or a seashell. And they're air dried for hours to days. Processed into a fine powder? Yes, like traditional cremation ashes. I've shown you on my channel what that processor, the cremulator, looks like. Same thing, same cremulator. And then it's returned to the family in an urn. Here's some bonus funeral facts. Did you know that more bone material is returned than with flame cremation? There's no need to remove implants or pacemakers. They're recovered afterward, and they're in pristine, clean condition. The whole thing is incredibly gentle, sterile, and precise. Next up, let's go to Hawaii and talk about how this process restores something that colonization
Yeah, she absolutely scraped Caitlin's video. Like, because Caitlin talked about Hawaii specifically because that's where she was born. She's from Hawaii. I think she's still white, but like she was, I think, like, descended from colonizers, but she's from Hawaii. And it's like very near and dear to her. She's talked about Hawaii quite a bit. Like, there's a reason why Caitlin brought up Hawaii in her video. The only reason that fuck you, girl. Like, the only reason for her to touch on Hawaii specifically, because there are lots of other cultures that where water cremation is like it's doing a similar thing. The only reason for her to touch on Hawaii specifically is because Caitlin touched on Hawaii specifically. Are you fucking kidding me? All right, hold on. Is anybody talking about this? This is fucking plagiarism, I swear to God. Okay, no, this is her accusing other people. Methinks she doth protest too much. It's I'm not crazy, right? In my opinion, this is, again, my opinion, don't fucking sue me. Girl, you are fucking plagiarizing. Kate, the balls it takes to plagiarize from the most famous mortician, the most long-standing mortician on the platform is crazy. That's insane. Like, it would be one thing if it was like some small. Caitlin's not a small channel. She has been making videos. Hold on a second. Where's my girl? Go, oldest. 14 years ago. The balls. 2 million subscribers. 2011 is when she started. So there's obviously some old videos that were lost to time. But 2011 has been very popular basically since she started. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't think anybody's talking about this. She's absolutely stealing content and plagiarizing, in my opinion, from Caitlyn. Ah!
Once tried to erase. All right, my bony little knowledge seekers, we've talked science, we've talked stews, but now we're going to talk spiritual, because in Hawaii, water cremation isn't a trendy new alternative. It's the modern return of a sacred ancient ritual that was taken away, the iwi. And you're going to have to forgive me if I pronounce something incorrectly, and I really hope that we have someone comment from native Hawaiian culture in the comment section, because this is really interesting and I had to include it, and I didn't have anyone else to talk to about it. So here we go. In native Hawaiian culture, iwi, bones, are sacred. They carry mana, spiritual energy, ancestral connection. And traditionally, when someone died, their body was placed in a hidden cave or an imu, a burial oven, to naturally decompose the body. Sometimes the flesh was carefully removed by hand. The clean bones were wrapped and hidden in sacred caves near cliffs or volcanoes, places believed to hold spiritual power. But after the illegal overthrow of the Hawaiian kingdom in the late 1800s and the arrival of Christian missionaries, traditional Hawaiian death practices were labeled pagan, savage, and forbidden. Colonizers banned imu burials. They banned iwi care. Families were forced into Western-style embalming, caskets, and flame cremation. An entire culture's sacred mourning practice was stripped away. Then, in 2022, Hawaii passed Act 294, legalizing water cremation. And this wasn't just about eco-consciousness. It was about reclaiming the right to treat iwi with dignity. A native Hawaiian advocate helped lead.
Again, she's doing the AI slop shit, but...
the charge, arguing that water cremation allowed families to once again receive clean bones, wrap them in traditional cloth, and bury them in sacred places, or return them to Pele, goddess of volcanoes. It's not just
it's not just this, it's that. I don't think that she's bringing up Hawaii because she cares about Hawaii in particular. I think she's bringing it up because Caitlyn brought it up. Because Caitlyn's from Hawaii. Wow, Hawaii. What the fuck is that enunciation? Hawaii. I'm probably, yeah, anyway.
about death. It's about resistance, restoration, and reconnection. Water cremation gave
exactly. It's not about this. It's about, and then like a bunch of just platitudes that like could mean anything.
Native Hawaiians back something they've been denied for over a century. So when someone tells you this is just a hippie thing, you tell
So when someone tells you, again, is another AI-ism.
Them, no, this is literally sacred. Let's bust some myths, because people have questions, and some of them are horrendously misinformed. So now you're emotionally invested, you understood the science, you respect the history, you're even picturing your bones getting lovingly air-dried like a goth rotisserie chicken. But here comes the problem, the internet. Because for every one person saying, wow, this is a beautiful eco-conscious option, there's 3 more screaming, wait, are we drinking people? So let's set the record straight. Buckle up, Karen. Myth number 1, you're drinking human remains through the tap water. First of all, ew. Second of all, no. The water used in the alkaline hydrolysis process is a highly alkaline solution that breaks down organic material. By the end of the process, you are left with a sterile, amber-colored liquid that contains amino acids, peptides, sugars, and salts. That's it. No blood, no cells, no DNA, no flesh. It's literally been broken down at the molecular level. It is biologically inert. That liquid is then diluted, pH balanced, and sent through the municipal wastewater system, where it goes through multiple stages of filtration and treatment, just like anything else that you flush. So unless you're personally drinking water straight from a treatment facility, raw and unfiltered, which if you are, please stop. You're not sipping Steve from accounting, I promise you. Myth number 2, there's no remains left to return to the family. Wrong again. This process actually leaves behind more bone material than flame cremation because it's gentler, there's less breakage, less pulverizing, and less burn off. The bones are chalk white. They're beautiful, porous, soft, like powdered coral. They're dried and ground into ashes and returned to the family in an urn. Yes, ashes, just a little softer, a little paler, a little less fiery. It looks like flour, beautiful white powdered flour. Myth number 3, this is gross and unnatural. Okay, but burning a body with a propane flame hotter than lava is normal? Every death care method is weird. When you zoom out and look at it, this one just happens to be scientific, sterile, and gentle. It's not gross, it's progress. Bonus myth, the church says it's disrespectful. The Catholic Church officially opposes alkaline hydrolysis because the liquid byproduct is washed into the wastewater system. They view that as undignified, but they do allow flame cremation, where your body is incinerated into particles and smoke. Again, make it make sense. For many families, water cremation is the more respectful choice. It's not about disrespect, it's not about redefinition. I know we touched on it briefly, but there are two main types of systems, and they approach the process a little differently, kind of like the difference between a gentle rocking cradle and a haunted hot tub. So let's break them down. Type 1, one type of machine is called, I'm going to call it the rocker. It's agitation based. The body is gently rocked through the cycle. The movement helps fluid bones remain. Liquid is sterile. Nothing is traumatizing. This is high-tech death care, and it's only getting better. That's what's really cool. Water cremation is legal in about 28 states, including Minnesota, California, Florida, Oregon, Washington, Colorado, Illinois, Maryland, Hawaii, and more. It's banned or unapproved in states like Texas, where multiple bills have failed due to opposition, largely from the Catholic Church, which objects to how the liquid is disposed of. Other faiths like Judaism and Islam traditionally prohibit cremation altogether, so water cremation is also a no, but Native Hawaiian communities, they've embraced it because for them, this was a return, not a rejection.
It's interesting that she's not talking about the other, like the politics of it, like the Republicans opposing it. Almost like she doesn't want to upset Republicans. It's interesting. This was made again in July 28th, 2025. So it was before like the new Tradcath movement, I think, which kind of really picked up this year. So she's not alienating her Protestant viewers, her Republican Protestant viewers. Interesting.
Funeral reform is coming slowly, but it's coming. So we've talked through the history, the science, the skull-penetrating fluid jets, carefully worded, of course, the sacred bones, the myths, the machines, and the legislation. And now we find ourselves on the row, where things get quiet and where we sit with it. Because as cool and clinical as alkaline hydrolysis sounds, turning into sterile soup in a $400,000 chamber, this whole thing still comes down to something incredibly human. What do you want to leave behind? Not just physically, like the bones or the liquid in the ashes in an urn, but emotionally, spiritually, energetically. This process, water cremation, isn't just a method of decomposition, it's a mirror. It reflects how we're changing as a culture.
And again, this is how Caitlin's video ended. I'm gonna let the rest of the video play.
It shows how people are starting to ask, do I really need to be embalmed and locked in a box for 400 years? Do I want fire or do I want something softer? What does it mean to leave gently? Take Desmond Tutu, Nobel Peace Prize winner.
Same guy that Caitlin brought up.
Human rights icon, he chose water cremation because he wanted to return softly. No fire, no fuss, just kindness and chemistry. And now more people are quietly saying, yeah, me too. So maybe it's not for everyone. Maybe your Aunt Carol will always want the velvet-lined casket with the brass handles and the rosary beads, and that's fine. But for those who want an exit that feels cleaner, lighter, more like a dissolving than a burning, more like a bath than a blaze, water cremation is waiting. So whether you're team fire, team dirt nap, or team body soup, just remember there's no right way to die. And there are better ways to be remembered and better ways to honor what you believed in, even after you're gone. And that is what this is really about. It's not about machines or bones or jets or pH levels. It's about intention. It's about exit strategy. It's about knowing that when you go the way you lived, thoughtfully, meaningfully, maybe even a little weirdly, and 100% in your own damn style. So thank you for coming to death class today, weirdos. I feel weird calling you a weirdo because I'm a weirdo. Weirdos. Maybe we could be the weirdos or the club of weirdos, the morbid weirdos.
The conclusion, it concludes it just like how an AI would conclude an essay. So I was not expecting the AI slop. I absolutely wasn't expecting that. I thought she would be. I thought that she would be like cheap in using like clickbait and like scare tactics, which she kind of does. But I was not expecting the AI slop. That absolutely blindsided me, and I'm really disappointed. I came in here wanting to think critically and talk about her critically, but again, as I said before, it's really hard to do that when somebody is using AI to write because, like, it's not really them speaking. And I was not expecting the plagiarism or what seems to be plagiarism. Like I said, I have no proof at the moment. It's just the coincidences are weird. Like, why did she? Ooh, yucky. I don't like that. I might look into this a little bit myself, but I was thinking that we could see what I originally wanted to do was watch these two videos and then look at some of her like weird oddball ones, like this is weird. This is a weird video. We've got like the Jeffrey Epstein shit is weird, but I don't want to watch her shit anymore because the AI shit. I don't want to watch it. I don't want to talk about it. What she got for shorts?
I will never with a semi-truck. I don't care how right you think you are. I don't care if they cut you off. I don't care if you're in a bad mood. You will not win that fight. The amount of people I see brake checking semis, cutting them off, weaving around them, that's insane to me. You want the lane? Take it. You want to merge? Come on over. I have seen what happens when a regular car meets a semi-truck. I went on a call one night. It was snowing, 2-lane highway, and these girls, college age, were out for the weekend. Whole lives ahead of them. They lost control of their car going a little too fast for the conditions, and they slid into the oncoming lane. And unfortunately for them, there was a semi in that lane, and they collided almost head on. And I'm just going to say it because this is the reality of it. The human body cannot withstand that kind of force. I collected up what I could of the driver and put what I could in the body bag with her. Do you get what I'm laying down here? Those girls didn't even look human anymore. They were here one moment and then gone the next. I will never.
Just that seemed distasteful to me.
What does slush actually mean? Titan set out to take passengers down to view the wreck of the Titanic. Not long after descent was confirmed that the sub had suffered a catastrophic implosion. Fast forward to today, families are speaking out about what was returned to them: slush. It's not a scientific term, it's a descriptive one. We are talking about an environment that the human body is not built to withstand: deep water, cold temperatures, movement, time, ocean life. So the body doesn't decompose in the way people are used to hearing about. It doesn't stay intact. It doesn't even stay recognizable. So what recovery teams are working with is not a body. It's fragments of organic material saturated with seawater, possibly mixed with debris from the vessel itself. Picture those divers searching for anything they possibly can. They're working in this huge debris field going, is this human? I don't know, but we're taking it, because you don't leave something behind if there's even a chance it belongs to someone. And that's how you end up with slush. Not because it's something simple or clean, but because it's blended, broken down, and no longer separate in the way we expect a body to be. What does
is the way that you're making me feel. So she gets like 581 subs. That seems low for a big creator of her big size. I'm not gonna watch all these, but I just wanted to kind of see what she was doing. Okay, that seems better. So her shorts aren't performing very well. I'm guessing she gets most of her short form content views. Yeah, look, this got 3 million. This got 2. Of course. So she got 2.5 million. I watched this actually a while ago when it came out. And then I realized around this point, it's like, oh, you're full of shit. And then you can see under like 500K and then under. And then so she returns to this and she gets 3 million views. And so, of course, she returned to it a third time and didn't get as many views. So I'm guessing she did not return to Mr. Epstein. No, she did not. But I could see why she went back to it a third time, because she thought that it would boost it again, because it was her most popular views. If we could go popular, it's the Jeffrey Epstein stuff. Yep. And then also Charlie Kirk. Interesting. Interesting that she's covering a lot of Charlie Kirk. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, that sucked more than I thought it would, and I'm really disappointed in that. I think we're done for the night, though. I was thinking this would go on a lot longer because, again, I was not expecting the AI slop. I absolutely wasn't expecting it. So I was expecting to watch, like, another, like, maybe 2 or 3 of Lauren's videos, no more Caitlin. Because, you know, again, Caitlin was our control, just so that we could see. And then I also wasn't expecting the similarities, the suspicious similarities in the actual essay content itself. So again, that's really interesting. But anyway, thank you so much for coming. Before you go, don't go yet. We are doing a movie night in the server. If you're in the Discord server, you can just join that. I'll be probably hopping on and starting it like maybe about like 20-ish minutes after the stream ends. So if you would like to get in on that and you are not in my Discord server, you can join my Patreon for as little as $1 a month, and make sure you have your Discord account connected to your Patreon account. It should just like dump you right in. We are watching some slop tonight, though. I had the violent urge to watch iRobot. It is my favorite bad adaptation. I think that Will Smith simultaneously ruined that movie and also saved it, because I think it was written around Will Smith. But also, like, if you took Will Smith out with the same script and put anybody else in, it would be garbage. Like, you would not have any, you know, it's not a good movie. But we're gonna watch it anyway, and we're gonna have laughs. It's like watching a bad movie on the couch with your friends. So if that sounds fun to you, like I said, Patreon, little as $1 a month, and you can come watch it with us. And I don't kick you out. If you want to cancel it later, that's fine. You only have to pay the once. It's a little baby gates to make sure you aren't a little child. Make sure you're grown enough to be able to enter a Discord server like that. So yeah, and thank you so much for watching. And thank you to my patrons, Paige Lego, Harvey Hummus, Mohammed, Weeskilly, Fiona, Boggle, Samim Astra, Dylan Rune, and Zephyr, Bex Fidel, Elias Tafsinian, Swampling Lover, Garden, Knot, and Daily, and a special thanks to my staff, Mothra, Squeakers, Bargle, and Sparrow, and of course, Paige and Dylan. I have not added their names to the credits yet. Whoops. If you would like to support me, you can subscribe to my Patreon or donate an amount of your choosing on Ko-Fi, link in the description down below, or support me in the free ways by liking, commenting, and subscribing, and following me on the social media. I will see you guys all later. Bye-bye.